Daylight savings time starts this weekend, and the harsh Southern California winters are finally behind us. It's actually warm this weekend, even though there's a little bit of snow left in the mountains and off in the distance. So we're going to start planting the garden, and we're going to start with this strawberry pot. So before we get started, we created this tier of pots. Now these things just stack together like this. Like they come apart, they're individual parts and pieces. And I've just filled them with dirt and stacked them up so they look like that. The goal is that the strawberries will grow out of here and then down the tiers and then maybe into the garden. And they'll get a lot of fruit on them because they're hanging down. But I don't want to water this thing by hand. I've got inline drippers and some drip tubing over here that's warming up in the sun. And the goal is I'm going to put a circle of drips all the way down all the different rings. But my problem is that if the tubing is just laying up here, it's going to all come off. So I need a way to attach it to there. They make stakes for these things, but they'll just pull out under tension. So what my plan is I'm going to drill holes in each of these and put a zip tie through here to kind of zip it all down. So I'm drilling holes in each one of these corners, each one of these lobes on this thing. But if I just start trying to drill here, the drill bit is going to drift all over the place. So what we're going to do is I've got this little punch here, and this will make a divot. And the drill bit will seek that, and it won't wander all over the place. All right. 34 more to go. Okay, I have all the holes drilled in here now, and you probably asked yourself, why didn't I drill all these holes before I put dirt in these? And the simple answer to that question is oftentimes you're figuring this stuff out as you go. If you're a first-time homeowner, you haven't learned this yet, but quite frankly, you wind up modifying stuff a lot, like a lot more than you actually think you would. And so you're oftentimes figuring stuff out as you go. You're with good intentions, you go and you buy all the parts that you think you need, and oftentimes you wind up coming home with or having to make 3 or 4 trips to the store and cutting things up and modifying them. A good example of that is the sprinklers I intended to put in here. I was going to put a button dripper at each one of the strawberry locations. And then I did the math on them, and they give 1 gallon per hour. So at 1 gallon per hour, I run the vegetable garden 15 minutes twice a day during the summertime. So that would literally be 18 times 2, 36 quarts of water I would be dumping on here every day. It would be a swamp. It would wash all the dirt out. So I'm switching from the button drippers to this weeping hose. What this is this is a 1/4-inch hose that is porous. As the water comes through it just kind of oozes out. And so it delivers water slowly. I'll put it on here, I'll check and see, is it going to be too much? Is it going to be too little? But let's get started hooking this stuff up. So the hose is open on one end. So the first thing we've got to do is put this plug in it. And I actually have a tool for doing this because sometimes it's a little hard to do, but with this weeping hose, it's not hard at all. And then we're going to come over here to our box. And I've got these zip ties. We'll just run one up through that hole that we just made. And zip that down nicely like that. And then we've got the next one. Pop that through. zip that down. And then we want to cut those off. Let's get our cutter here. And now we go all the way around. Okay, now that the strawberry pots are all sprinkled up, and hopefully it's not too much water or too little water, either way, we're going to hook all this into the main line and give it a test. So we've got our micro dripper here, and here's our main line. It's running through here. What we want to do is, you wind up, if you do a lot of this, you wind up with a lot of these special tools. Like, see this thing, all it does, it's supposed to put a hole in the main line. It's actually not very expensive. And if you do a lot of these, it's worth the investment. So we're just gonna pop it on here, give it a pop. There we go. You can see a little water coming out of it. And then we want to make sure we got enough hose. Cut this off about here. And these are what's called barbed connectors. This is just a little piece that it goes in here and it goes in the end of this. So we'll put this in the end here. As far as we can. And then pop it in there. Now we should be able to turn the water on. And here comes the water. So look at that, it's like a little fountain. It might be too much, but we'll check it out over the next few days and see how it does. Make sure it doesn't swamp out. It's not supposed to rain until Tuesday, so it'll give us some idea of how much water that's actually going to dump on there. And so that's it. We've got sprinklers on our strawberry pot. Our next thing we're going to do is plant this. We'll put strawberries in there. They'll grow. We'll make strawberry shortcake this summer.